right, welcome in, my friends. I want you, as you come into this space, just take a moment and settle into your body. Here in the descent, we do not rush past what is real, and so you need to be present in order to feel that. Okay. Um, we want to meet the places that feel shaky. We want to be able to meet the parts of ourselves that have been carrying more than you were ever meant to hold. And we want to let truth rise without apology. So it's important for you to be present. So today's message is not here to tell you who to be, but it is here to hold a mirror to the part of you that already knows and the part that whispers beneath the noise here. So the part that really has been trying to guide you back to your own center. So before we begin, I want to open this space with prayer and intention. Divine Holy Spirit, please meet us in this unseen place where the heart remembers itself. And let every word that comes through be clean and precise and aligned with the truth. And let it move only where it is meant to move and awaken only what is ready to awaken. For the soul listening, unravel the fear that keeps them small and unhook them from the stories that silence their intuition. And I ask that you bring light to the place where their strength has been hiding. Help them recognize the difference between the voice of survival and the voice of their soul. Help them feel held even as they face what they've avoided. And remind them that descending is not punishment, but it is an initiation. May this reading open what is needed to be opened. And may it soften what needs to softening. And I ask you to guide these souls to the truth that they've been circling for far too long. And so it is. All right, my friends, I was really pulling I always say that, field. I was feeling pulled to the soul cards. So these cards don't have any meanings. They're strictly read intuitively. That I've put volumes 1 and 2 together. Real quick, before we do get into this, let me make a quick announcement. For those of you that are Phoenix Frequencies members, we are having to move our live up to around the new moon in Sagittarius because we need to work with that energy. We originally had it set for the 22nd. So just a heads up, I haven't changed it in your announcement board yet, but it will be like the 18th, 19th, 20th. I've got to look at the calendar. So keep your eye out for that. It is going to change. And also, my Sacred Disruptor and Phoenix Frequency members, you do have that 30% off coupon for the annual Decode blueprint, where we take a look at your year ahead as like your roadmap. So that coupon code is going to be in your announcement board as well. That's good through December 31st, by the way. Code initiates and those of you watching here, there is a 20% coupon code. It is year 2026, all caps, no spaces, for 20% off that annual Decode blueprint. All right, let's get into this. Okay, I'm going to flip that over for a moment because I don't want it to be considered not okay for YouTube. Okay, here we go. This came out recently in another reading. There's something here about the old version of you dying. I'm just going to pull this up so I can look at it without having to keep this card covered. Yeah, there's definitely a freeing. There's a death to self here is what I'm getting. There's an old, there's a shedding. If you didn't watch the reading, the shedding has begun. You'll see it on the thumbnail. I'll put it here at the end of the video for you. Then you may want to watch that because there is this releasing that's happening. And I feel like this is where you've kept yourself small. These are, you know, decisions. This energy has shaped decisions that you have made over the course of time. And I feel like you're in a place where you're letting this go. And so that tells me you're right on time because I see the collective moving through this energy right now. Okay. All right. So they're pulling me to the traditional Rider Waite, Ritter Waite, potato, potato, tomato, tomato, pecan, pecan, caramel, and caramel. Let me know what you say. Okay. In the comments. All right. Let's see what us Southerners say. Pecan pie. All right. Show me this energy, please. We have the Hanged Man. Okay. Piscean energy. We do have Neptune stationing direct. I don't have my calendar in front of me for the exact date. Is it today actually that I'm recording this? I think. Neptune stationing direct in Pisces. So there's this facade. There's this illusion that is really like we're getting a clarity on any sort of illusions that we've held, any sort of fantasies that we've held. But I'm also getting that there's something about protection in there. Like there was this protective mechanism. We were protecting ourselves in these choices and decisions we were making in the past. All right, show me more. We have the worlds. Yeah, there's a cycle completing here for sure. That's what this is all about. Okay. You may want to consider, if you haven't already, doing an aura cleansing. I'll try to do a video on that to tell you how to do that. I feel like there's some forgiveness that's needed of yourself, some acceptance. It does feel like acceptance quite a bit, actually. But the acceptance is around like you would have done better if you had known better kind of thing. We have the King of Wands. So this is shaping choices and actions. I feel some sort of courage returning to you. This feels like something that you haven't felt in a long time. Yeah, Nine of Wands. And the Four of Cups. Okay. I've had to say this a few times, but there needs to not be a beating up of yourself. Because I feel like this is coming from a wounded child, and that beating up of yourself could be from the place that this child was wounded to begin with. Okay. And I'm talking about your inner child here. But I do see some sort of spark or desire or fire returning to you. A boost is what I'm getting. Now, you could currently feel like tired, bummed out, because I feel like you're still in the process of releasing this, of shutting this. This is a rebirth energy. Yeah, I keep getting pulled back to, first off, your solar plexus. I feel like yellow foods, lemon. I know it sounds silly, but sometimes if I need it, I'll tape like a piece of round pyrite in my belly button. Those of you that have belly rings, okay, maybe find you a tiger's eye belly ring. That can be useful. I did that back in the day. But there's something here about needing to balance and needing to recalibrate your solar plexus. It could feel kind of wobbly right now. I feel like we're really working with the lower chakras, root, sacral, and solar. And you're actively working with this. So it could feel a little unstable, or again, you could find yourself reverting back to like beating yourself up for certain things that again, there needs to be this acceptance that we did what we needed to do when we needed to do it with the knowledge that we had, and not using this time to like berate yourself, because again, that's how the inner child was wounded to begin with. That is still connected to that wounding. All right, so let me see. Show me more here. Okay, we have the Two of Wands. And the Nine of Swords. Yeah. See how there's this anxiety around making different choices, and the choices that maybe we have to make now that we are aware of this, now that this is kind of falling away for us. Again, the shedding has begun. Go watch that reading, because there's something about this old version of you and the way that you've done things in the past that is no more. It's dead to you now. And you could find yourself in this place where you're kind of needing to forgive yourself for this, because it wasn't that wasn't your fault. You did the best you could with what you had, the knowledge that you had, etc. And we have the Queen of Cups. Interesting. You may want to go watch the reading that the Queen of Cups showed up in the reading that I did for on the Collapse Codes main channel, and so did the Queen. All the queens actually showed up. Okay. Your job is to be as open as you can when you are making these choices and decisions that you're going to be coming up to. All right. And for some of you, it's small things. It could be like how you're eating. Like, I just found out the other day that the tea that I have been using as a medicinal thing was actually extremely toxic. So I'm saying, like, maybe there's little changes here that you need to make. Maybe there's, like, now that you can't unsee it. So I'm not going to beat myself up because I didn't know better about drinking the toxic tea, but now I'm going to course correct for dang sure, right? Especially if you're, like, just in general, as I was, using something medicinally. But there is there's something here about this, not quite clear yet. Okay. It's still a little foggy. There's still a little teeter-tottering between the old and the new. So let me just look at this Hanged Man real quick and see if I can't get some more information around. Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it's there's a lot of contemplating, a lot of taking stock of something. I feel like you're trying to decipher where the mask was, and the mask was something that came up in that reading. But where the mask was in these decisions, where you saw yourself a certain way, but now you're seeing yourself in a completely different, with a completely different lens. You're recognizing where, again, I'm getting something was an illusion, or where you didn't see where you were acting from a place of, and again, I feel like it's inner child wounding here. This could be specifically for some of you that, and this has been coming through a lot, that have, we're all under this North Node, South Node. So North Node being in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, and we are all under this Chiron and Taurus, Chiron and Aries energy. For those of you where you've been noticing me picking up Chiron and Taurus, we have Chiron moving into Taurus June of 2026. So, and it's going to kind of, I feel like it's going to kind of somehow at some point you're going to find like there's a blending together. Okay. There's a mixing of the two as we transition. So some of you have specifically Chiron and Aries or Chiron and Taurus. But this Chiron and Aries in general for the collective, this is about your identity, who you really are at your core, your most authentic self. And so I feel like you're discovering your most authentic self here. And again, this means that an old version of you is dying. It is a spiritual death, so it can feel like death. Show me this world, please. The Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so you are coming up to a new decision to make, a new opportunity, a new path that has potential. This card flipping out, Two of Pentacles. You're going to be carefully considering this. You could be looking at something that you're involved in now, or some sort of opportunity that has presented itself to you. I feel like if it hasn't happened yet, you'd be looking by the 24th. I'd say by the end of the year, actually. This looks like by the end of the year. With the world being like a calendar year for me as the practitioner, and then also with the Neptune stationing direct in Pisces. We've already had Saturn stationing direct in Pisces that took place on the 27th of November. There's something with water here. I'm not sure what that is. This could be flooding. This could be like tsunami energy, not trying to like predict anything, but I'm just picking that up. So just FYI, okay, like tsunami energy. There, again, this could be like waves of emotion that you're dealing with around direction right now. But for some of you, I'm getting like a world event potentially here, something with water. It doesn't have to be a tsunami, but I'm seeing something with like flooding or water, or like they're showing me sloshing water. So violent, like violent water. I don't know what that's about. Violent water, whatever that means. Okay, so let me look at this. What I'm getting is that there's this sense of confidence that's arising, this sense of boldness that's starting to kind of gain traction here. Again, I still feel like you're in the in between. I still feel like you're processing some things that don't feel pretty. Okay, 9 of Wands, 4 of Cups, please. You're going to need to feel this. Okay, it's very important that you go through this purging. So the discomfort that you could be feeling, okay, the disappointment in yourself that you could be feeling, it's something that you do need to process, not resist. That's where the transition, the transformation, the rebirth, the spiritual awakening. You're having an awakening. A lot of you have already had one, okay, or you have many. You can have many, I should say. You go through like cycles of them. And so I'm getting that this is like another level of awakening for you. For some of you, maybe this is the first time, and this is the first time you're finding a channel like this. Okay. There's this process of awakening that's taking place. This coming to a realization. It's like a waking up. It's being woken up from the dead. Again, there's a lot of scorpionic energy here. Okay. As far as the kind of energy that I'm seeing within the reading, not necessarily the cards. This is Scorpio, though. And this is fixed energy. So, but I'm also seeing like Phoenix type energy, a rebirth arising. It's making something of the rubble, making something of the ashes here. Okay. And so I do feel this courage. I do feel this bravery. And maybe this is a courageous or brave decision that you're going to be making coming up. Again, for some of you, this hasn't come through yet. It feels like it could be through or by the end of the year, is my best intuitive guess and nudge that I'm getting here. So for most of you, this will come through by. Okay. They're also referencing that the actual new year, which would be February 17th. So maybe for some of you on the latter end, it could be by that time. Okay. And we'd be just getting into Pisces season within a couple days of that. That's also an eclipse in the sign of Aquarius, new moon Aquarius. Okay. I'm hearing bumps in the road. Okay. Okay. Some bumps in the road. Maybe you're driving, listening to this, and just went over some bumps. You're gonna have to go on, sir. Go on, go lay down. Teak, my Capricorn Aquarius cusper. All right. Can you please show me this 9 of Swords? You're going to be stressed about making a decision because I feel like you desperately don't want to make the wrong one, and I think it's going to bring up some anxiety for you. You're really on the precipice of something here, okay? But you're still in the process of purging and shaking loose an old identity. There's the King of Cups, more Scorpio. The King of Cups showed up in that other reading, so go watch that other reading. I'll put it here at the end. I'll put the shedding, and I'll put the reading that I did on Collapse Code's main channel for you guys to watch because it seems relevant. In fact, I almost felt pulled to this deck and had to check back in and got pulled to another deck for that reading. So, okay. Now, this may be the thing that you're making the decision about. It could be a person. And in that reading, it was showing a person was showing up. It's like yeah, 10 of swords. This is something that this is something that's coming back up that you thought you had laid to rest. You thought was over and done. You thought you weren't going to have to deal with anymore. Or you thought this was like a closed door. This was never coming back. This is something like this. I feel like this is how you see this. Your job here is to be open to this. And I'm telling you, it is not, something is not dead and gone. Something is absolutely not dead and gone. And I'm seeing the King of Swords here. Whatever this is extremely serious. That feels like part 2 to this reading. So you may want to go watch that. Okay, please do yourself a favor here. Mhm. Yes, there's this truth that's coming towards you, this clarity that's coming towards you. Your only job here is to be open to receiving all of the information. I feel like you worry about making some kind of decision, but it's a decision that's made in this new version of you. It's not the old version of you, but I do see anxiety around this. There's a mirroring going on between you and another person as well. It doesn't have to be romantic, okay? But for a lot of you that have had maybe endings in situations with people that might have been romantic that didn't really go well, or that ended on a sour note, this could be what this is. Okay. And I'm seeing the Ace of Cups. Again, your job here is to be open to this approach with the new, with the shedding of this old version of you. We're going to be making a new decision. Now, this could be saying no to something, or it could be saying yes to something. It's going to vary for different souls here. Okay. So, for example, maybe a decision was made because of insecurity in the past, and we stayed away from something because we felt insecure about it. Well, maybe now this is about like, okay, well, that insecurity I'm working through. So now this feels like something that I need to look at and something that I need to work with. And so maybe I say yes to the thing. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm seeing for you. Okay. I feel like you definitely want to pay attention to what's coming up for you as far as beating yourself up in any way right now. I don't think this is quite here yet. Again, I think this is probably what I'm seeing here with the Ace of Pentacles. It's some sort of proposition. And you're going to wonder what you should do with it. Okay. Bear with me while I feel if there's any other message that I need to pull forward here. Also, judgment here, this would be making some sort of judgment call. And how I like to present to you to interpret this card is, this is a process of evaluation that you go through. And through that evaluation, your perspective changes. You see things differently, right? And because you're seeing things differently, you're like, man, I feel like I really align with this aspect now because of what I see. And this changes your frequency. It creates this energy of needing to make a different decision, because the energy if you stay in the energy you were in prior to this evaluation that brought about this awareness, it starts to feel like sandpaper, or it starts to feel extremely pressurized, very uncomfortable. And so you're being asked to step into the higher timeline at that point. And so I feel like there is something about entertaining this. I'm not here to tell you what to do. For some of you, it's an absolute no. But if you feel some sort of detest toward this situation, if you feel some kind of discomfort, now again, for some of you, it's going to be for different reasons. But if this is just like, you don't have a good reason, okay? You just can't stand this person because of how they did you or whatever happened, or then I would say that this is probably something that you need to be aware of. Now, that detest energy is coming again from this because they wounded you, or they touched a wound for you. Some of you aren't going to get that or grasp that concept, that level of awareness. Okay. And that's okay. You're not wrong for it, but there is a higher level of awareness around this situation and how you feel about it that could be important to you in this process. Okay. I'm just inquiring about closing out, and they're pulling me to this deck here. All right. Give me guidance, advice, reminders, clarity, confirmation, please. Passage. It's interesting. I was going to mention something about the number 8 in the other reading, and I don't think or not necessarily 8, but the infinity symbol I was seeing that. So if you watch that reading and you hear, I was picking up the infinity symbol and I'm seeing it here. That's a little bit of confirmation that I should have said something. I think I was just trying to take in everything, which is why I didn't say it. I wasn't like hiding it from anybody. Okay, so this is release from a difficult situation, transformation, and awakening. Travel, seeking relief from difficult realities. The shadow is escapism, reluctance to shed one's former self. There you are. This is exactly what this was about. Not necessarily your reluctance, but you are moving through this currently. So with this card, when this card appears in a reading, you may be experiencing a period of change. If this is the case, your transition should be a positive one, but remember that in order to emerge anew, it is necessary to release the old self. If you are not currently going through such a passage, now may be the time to embark upon a journey. Take a retreat, find a space for meditation and self-healing. Whichever you decide, this process should be one that leads toward growth. The danger here is in seeking pleasurable pursuits that encourage escapism rather than confrontation with the self. So get rid of the distractions. If this proposal, opportunity, presentation, proposition hasn't been brought to you just yet, the personality needs to be tested. This might not always be comfortable, but it will ensure self-realization and renewal. So again, I'm definitely getting this phoenix rising sort of energy, but right now we're still kind of in the ashes. We're like, we can see the cracks in the embers, right? But we haven't bust through that encasing yet. So, but you're having something here that's going to help you move to the other side. Now, in the other reading where I was picking up similar energy, it was a fated situation, a fated event coming through, something that is supposed to be on your path. So my friends, I'm going to leave this here. I hope this reading finds whoever it's meant for. If you want to work with me in any way, you can contact me at collapsecodes.com, and I'll see you guys in the next reading.